Hello, we're live. How you going, guys?
What's happening?
I'd like to thank George for being a friend.
Oh, welcome.
I'd
Hmm.
love to get someone to cut out our heads and put them on the characters in that. I think that would be
Who,
hilarious.
who would you
I
be?
would be the bitchy old lady, the oldest
Mm.
one.
Oh, I
Oh,
thought I would be
Sophia.
that one. I'd,
No,
Sophia.
you would be Blanche.
yeah, Blanche is a little sassy, isn't she?
George would be B. Arthur.
I'm okay
Be
with that.
Arthur.
Yeah.
All right, let's say hello, chat, and then we'll talk about what we're talking about today. Von Stugel's in the house. How are you, man? Corey Barton. That's a long sentence, Corey. I'm not going to read it. George is here.
Not worth it.
The Ryan Cardinal, good to see you. Statistical Zero, good to see you as well. Matthew Fowler's in the house. Mo Biggs, my mortal enemy right now. He timed me out, George, before there was a competition, and I couldn't answer the question, so I couldn't win.
Sorry, man.
I mean, it didn't matter that I didn't know what the answer was, but just it's the principle. It's a principle, Mo. Random task. Good to see you. Who else we got? NCM. Congratulations on turning 17 now. That's very good.
No, we just had his birthday. He can't have had another one.
K Manifesto, Black Rose, Sontag, Fred Durst.
Rolling.
Yeah. Man, you just got to roll with it when someone changes your name. Rubble Copter. Who else we got? Luis.
Ledesma.
Yeah, Mobig said I asked for it, which is half true. I asked for a participation award, George, and his response was timing me out. So
Well, you got one.
Fair enough. Jar Rose in the house. Okay, cool. So what a few things.
Don't rush. We don't have a whole hour's worth of material. Don't rush.
Did you see Heidi Hausner?
No. And I Borrow Ideas is in the house. Good to see you, and D Hausner.
We like I Borrow Ideas.
Save it for next year. You turned 17, didn't you, though? That's how old you are now.
No, he didn't turn 17. He turned 17.
What? 17?
There
Am I
you go.
saying 17 not American enough? Is that what you're telling me?
You said it, Bogan.
All right. Very good. All right. What are we talking about? Falling out of love with comics, George.
Tell me what that means.
Yeah. So my first comic, Replicator 1, there were multiple times that I didn't enjoy it. I didn't love it multiple times. Ever since I've joined Comicsgate, there has not been a day which I haven't enjoyed making comics, except for last week. And I had one of those days. There's nothing really that happened to have it. It just wasn't an enjoyable day. And I just wanted to speak to you guys and the fans, like the people in chat here. Like, has there been times that you haven't loved comics?
I don't make comics.
Yeah, it's different, I think, for us.
Next question.
I'm no.
This needs to go for at least 20 minutes.
We're readers and collectors. This is your job, so I think it's a different dynamic. I think if you've enjoyed it this long, I think that's tremendous. I mean, who can say at their job they've enjoyed it every single day, but one day or 1 week? Everyone has a bad day here and there. Now, if you're asking about were there times in my life I stopped reading comics because I stopped enjoying them, there was, but that's over probably a 40-year span. So it's a little different for me than it is for you.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think one day out of 2 or 3 years is sensational. Like you said, you take that every day of the week. That's amazing. Tell me about, and chat, tell me as well. Like, if you've fallen out of love, like I know some of you take breaks, you go away, and then you come back. So let us know what the reasons were. And George, tell me why did you stop?
Yeah, Joe Sontag says I stopped reading comics 2 different times in my life for various reasons. I stopped reading them, I think, 2 or 3 times as well. The very first time for me was in the very early 1990s. Marvel was riding high with all of their incredible talent and their runs that they had there. DC could not have been better with all the books they were putting out. And then, when everyone looks at it as a high point that Image started, to me, Image was new. I didn't know the characters, but all the characters I knew, like Spider-Man and Incredible Hulk and all these characters that I loved, lost all of their creatives on it. And the books just kind of fell down the tank. So for about a year or two, from 91 to 93, I was kind of out of it. It also happened to be like a different time in my life too. But what actually got me back into comics, collecting pretty hard and reading pretty hard, was the Vertigo line of books from DC. So Sandman, Hellblazer, obviously you've heard me talk about Swamp Thing in the past, but those books are the ones that kind of brought me back in. That's what I really enjoyed. So for a long time, that was great. And then probably right in the early 2000s, I would say 2001, I couldn't find a book I liked. And I happened to be reading one title. It was The Spectre. And I know Leroy knows this story. I was reading The Spectre and I was enjoying it, but it was just okay. And it just so happened that my favorite artist, Norm Brayfogle, was assigned to that book as I was reading it. And that totally sparked my interest in the book again. And probably most recently would have been in the past year or two, probably like 2017 or 18. I started kind of, I can't find a book that I like. But that's when I started learning more about crowdfunding books. And that kind of sparked my interest in it again as well. So there's been moments, but I've always been able to find a book or pinpoint something that got me back into it.
Everybody could relate to that moment, George, when you pick up Youngblood and you look at Liefeld and you're like, I just can't anymore.
Let's see what the chat is saying. It seems a pretty common occurrence. Joey Sontag, like you said, he stopped reading 2 different times. Von Stugel says 2000 to 2013, and then 2015 is another drop-off. If George ever falls out of love with comics, his long boxes are going in the river, and that depresses me. Statistical Zero says no. Certain creators, the stories they are telling, perhaps some. Manifesto says, I've fallen out of reading comics at sometimes, but I've never stopped loving the craft or medium of comics. Yeah. Jarrow was hardcore until 95, until about 2005, dipped in and out since then. So it's everyone has gone through the same things with reading comics, which is...
I go with that in Comicsgate too, where there would be like 3 or 4 things and that you just shake your head and you're like, I need like a day. I can't anymore. Yeah. I can't. So in CG in general, you can have that as well.
Resistance Publishing says, the falling out of love happens and can't be avoided. I've been collecting for 35 years and it happened to me twice. You need to take a break from anything you love every so often. That makes sense. Like, the whole absence makes the heart grow fonder kind of thing. But if you're out of books, picking everything up for 6 months, and then all of a sudden someone's saying to you, you might want to check this title out, that might spark your interest again. Comics are weird. In a lot of ways, they're like sports. There's things I liked in sports from 30 years ago, but it's always going to be the new thing that everyone's talking about, right?
Oof.
Can you read that one, Leroy?
I think George would read it even better.
Leroy was falling out of love with CG, but then the $4.99 colors pulled him back in. I think it's always going to be the new book that people are going to want to talk about.
Let's send Vanessa the link.
J. Scott Campbell stuff. It's all my feed has in it. Made me think about a vacation. Yeah. Jim Cox says, take a break or throw it into the river. Yeah, that's never going to go away, George. That is gospel now.
Oh my goodness.
It's the lore.
Resistance Publishing, the Replicator. After surrounding yourself with a hobby 24/7, you get enough after a while that then disappear and come back. I'm addicted, so I can't quit. How many? This is a thought. How many people do you think that loved comics at one point in time have just gone away and haven't come back? Are they there? Are they out there somewhere?
I don't know, but I think that to Resistance's point, like that's true. I would never want to make a comic book because I don't want it destroyed for me. That's my hobby. That's what I do for fun. I don't want to make a book. I even know way more about how to make a book than I ever did. and that even reinforces that I want no part in making a book.
I want you to read what Improbi said, but what I want to talk about what Leroy just said too. So the dark 90s from 94 to 97 is when I stopped collecting. Quality is most were terrible, and gouging prices were just not worth it. I would have quit comics again last year if it wasn't for Comicsgate. They're called the noisy 90s for a reason. I mean, a lot of those books that were being put out were just not good. And he's right. In a lot of ways, Comicsgate has gotten a lot of folks back into comics because people are putting quality, and you can tell that they care about their book. But what Leroy was saying was interesting because I agree with him. Like, this is basically my only hobby. This is all I have left. I would never want to work on a comic book. I would never want to write one. I would never want to learn how to draw or letter, because once you start doing that, then that's your job. And then it's different. It's a different mindset. That's why I can't relate to what you're saying, because this is your work, where this is my hobby. Like, this is all I really have left to collect. Like, I don't buy trading cards or sports cars. I just buy comics.
Murray's on fire today. I almost lost interest in comics when I saw the original Peak Destroyer logo. So
P-Pack.
George, I don't know if you've seen it, but Sontag has a Reaper Destroyer, but his logo doesn't really have an R. It looks more like a P. So the whole chat was lighting him up because it looks like Peak.
Coming soon from Chocolate Starfish Comics.
Black Rose says, subscribe to Sontag's channel. Do so, just not right now. Click the link, leave it there so you can do it later. But yeah, we should need to build his channel up for sure.
Jasper says, I quit for a while when DC was doing line-wide crossovers with titles I was interested in. I have the completest need to own them all, and I think these corporations feed off of that.
Call me Ishmael.
Manifesto asked a great question, which I was going to try and get into. Has creating comics changed your passion for them? It has. It really has. In my spare time, I create comics, right?
To be fair, though, Rob, just let's lay it off for the chat. You've never read a comic before, so you didn't have a passion until you wrote one.
Let the man finish his point. Come
on. Yeah, so like George's hobby, Leroy's hobby is reading them. My hobby is creating them. Like, that's my spare time. So to then go and read everything, it's you put your analytical glasses on, and it's not great. You don't want to, because I love them too. I love my Judge Dredd. I love my Phantom, and I don't want to read everything and find all the problems with it. So I don't read as much as I probably should. It's just
George, don't you think that like a creator that fans out just as hard as we do, like that makes that even draws us closer to a creator?
It makes them more relatable. Absolutely, because we realize that they kind of have the same sort of reaction that we would. Absolutely.
So you're just telling me
that wasn't aimed at you.
Read more books.
No.
Black Rose says, making a comic actually brought me back in. Yeah, that's cool, man. Can you blame Rob for not loving comics that much when his options were the Phantom and Judge Dredd? No, there you go. Resistance Publishing, The Replicator. I just finished writing a 12-issue volume 1. I'm working with the artist on the first issue. I can't imagine falling out of love with comics because I'm working on my own book. Damn. Yeah, it's cool, man. And like, don't get me wrong, guys. This lasted a day, and I was just like, man, I'm not feeling it today.
And there was no specific instance of what happened. It just was like a feeling.
Yeah, it was just like everything. All the little things, like everything was harder than it needed to be, and that was what.
George, he lost that loving feeling.
And I guarantee you, like, I don't want to speak for them because I don't know them, but I guarantee people like Shane, like EVS, I guarantee that they would have fallen out with love of comics for at least a day in their lives. Surely. Do you think?
Everybody but Kenneth Rocafort, I would agree. I don't think he falls out of love with comics ever.
Like, once again, it's different. Are you talking about they're working on it? Or are you talking about the medium? Because when you see Ethan talk about like watching, people like pull up a long box of books and he gets excited, or seeing Shane Davis talk about a Jim Starlin book he read when he was younger, how much it motivated him. It's still neat to hear them say those things, because I know what that's like. But it's
Joe,
different. Like for them, that motivated them into their career, where me, it motivated me into my hobby.
there was a cool moment we got to spin with Joe Rob when we invited him on this channel one time, and we stream sniped DVS, and he brought the Keown thing up, and Joe almost like shed a tear. Like that's how cool that was. You know, like, so it is important to George's point. Absolutely.
Probably says most comic dealers tell me when asked, don't read comics anymore. I guess when you're on this other side of the business, whether you're a creator or a dealer, the job takes over the fun of the hobby. And don't get me wrong as well. Like I have a heap of fun creating Replicator. I love doing it. You know, if it's not easy creating comics. Anyone you guys would even know now, because you've been behind the scenes so much. It's not easy. So if you don't love it, it's not going to be something you want to do. So yeah, it's really cool.
What do you find rewarding about the process beyond, obviously, you know, the pay and all that kind of stuff? Like, what makes you like, yeah, that was good, I'm so glad I just did that?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's everything, George. I don't really think about the money so much. I like getting the books in people's hands. I love art. I love art. That's like, you know, that's why I get 3 different covers. You know, it's not to make money. It's because I can say these are my covers, and I've got a Kanan, I've got a Rob Willis, I've got a Dan Fragger, I've got an Aaron Alfecci, and that's all my IP. And I think it's awesome. That's one of the main things. But getting the book in people's hands and getting feedback from people like you, George, probably gave me the best feedback a review I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
And you know, you get people that don't like it, and that's okay too, right? That's fine. I don't know. It's just the whole thing from start to finish, to coming up with the idea. It's just all of it, George. It's all fantastic.
He's like a cowboy talking about a rodeo, George.
It sounds to me like he likes it way, way, way more than the one time he didn't like it.
Yeah, and that's it. That's it. You know, it's great.
You're in a different spot though. It's different for you. Like if I was a comic book writer, once I was done writing that story, it's all over. But you are the creator of the entire franchise. You are basically the editor, chief creative officer, but you're also, you know, in charge of fulfillment, shipping, you know, customer service, everything. So it's completely different for you. So I could see how that would be, you know, difficult at times.
Unfortunately, George, he's also in charge of marketing.
Resistance Publishing, Replicator dude, you probably at a burnout point. Creating your own is a ton of work, and your responsibility to the fans is overwhelming. Yeah, no, I'm not, dude. I'm really not at a burnout point. It was literally just one day where I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I'm not loving it today. So yeah, I mean that's good. If it's only one day, I'll take it.
Sorry,
read that one, George.
Yeah, George, stop complimenting Rob. I apologize.
George, I got something that we can kill this whole show with, that you've been wanting to have a talk about. And it kind of, you know how we're talking about falling out of love in comics. Well, somebody brought up like different aspects of comics, and I fell out of love with cons. Like, and I that's how I feel. But there's a natural evolution of things. Cons aren't what they used to be, for a multitude of reasons, and everything's always evolving. Comics, how we're doing campaigns evolves. The cons have evolved. Mainstream comics has devolved, but it's always changing, right? So I don't think cons are for the fans anymore. Like, they're for like the collectors, they're for business, they're for everything but the fans, and that would make somebody fall out of love. If that's what you like doing, if you like the con scene and whatever, and you're just a fan, that's not for you anymore, and it'd push you out, I'd imagine.
No, I disagree. I think there.
I know you do. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think there are indeed conventions, and the big one everyone talks about is San Diego, which kind of lost its spirit of what a Comic-Con is. But I still think there is a lot of good cons around that are centered on comic books. and the fans. I think they do exist. Now, of course, the past year has been different because you can't go into like a public setting anymore. But I do think they'll come back someday, and I think the cons will be back to what they were.
Yeah, you say that, George, but there's a lot of talk lately that creators aren't going to be allowed to sell like their original art.
I haven't heard that from anybody.
Did you watch Shane's last video?
I watched Shane's
On
video,
NFTs?
and what he's saying is, will an artist be able to do a sketch of a licensed character? Not will he be able to sell the original art? Those are two completely different topics. So that's like me saying to Rob, can I buy your Replicator page? Or Rob, can I have you draw a sketch of Batman for me? Those are two completely different topics.
My argument with the cons is this, George. For a guy like me that used to bring a backpack of like 3 books, I'm not going to stand in a book for a line for a man. Like, I'm not doing that. So then you'd say, okay, I got these 3 books. I want to get them signed, right? But then you have these guys that have 500 books of issue 1, and they're in line, and all they're going to do is flip them or sell them. That's what cons are. You see people wheeling around long boxes at these conventions or whatever. That's kind of what it is. And then, yeah, I talk shit about the cosplay. I do that, but it goes deeper than that.
I think saying there's a guy or someone at the con has a 500 copies of issue number 1 is like saying I'm not going to drive anymore because I saw someone that was drinking and driving the other day. It does happen, but it's not.
I've seen it's a lot. It's not a little bit. It's a lot.
No, it's not that prevalent. I don't disagree that it does happen, but I don't think that one person can ruin the entire con experience for me.
Hello, Jeff. Good to see you. Don't know if we've seen you here before.
New person.
Yeah.
You're not one for cons, right, Rob? Because you can't sit or stand for very long, right?
Yeah, like I've got my back's all jacked up. So there's no way I could sit for 8 hours a day for 3 days in a row. It just wouldn't happen. And every time I go to a con, it doesn't seem like it's a Comic Con. It seems like it's a cosplay, Funko Pop toy con with a side bit of comics. It's like ordering steak and 3 veg, and one of those veg is comics, right? It's barely comics when I go. It's just all these cosplayers and games and all that kind of stuff. Pop culture con, yeah, is exactly what it is when I've been to, and I haven't been to heaps. I've been to like 3 or 4, right? And I've been to ones in Australia and I've been to ones in England, but they're all the same. I don't know what it's like in America. Is it different?
Well, if you're in the Northeast where George is, they're probably more. You can get to talk about the smaller ones you go to, George.
I go to cons at like local airports where there's just one artist and all there is comic books and there's no cosplayers. Then I go to ones where there's maybe 15 or 20 guests, and yeah, I've gone to ones where there's 200 to 300 guests. So I've run the gamut of. I've probably been to over 100 conventions in my life.
What are your favorite ones?
There's one in Baltimore I like. There's one in Connecticut I like. Those are probably 2 of the best. But you can see cosplayers when you're there. You can see Funko Pops when you're there, but you also can see comic book creators when you're there. I've met some of the best comic creators that ever lived at these conventions. Maybe I've only spoken to them for a couple of seconds, or maybe I've become like lifelong fans of them, one or the other. But
Kenneth Roquefort, you say?
I've never met Kenneth. Never met Kenneth at a con. So.
Want to read that one, Leroy?
Sounds like gun shows. They turned into. I know. I agree with Jim. It sounds like gun shows. They turned into Beanie Babies, jerky, arts and craft shows. I agree with Jim.
I do like beef jerky.
Well, that's what Bucky's for.
I borrow ideas. Rob resents the fact that he gets no royalties for inspiring Funko Pops. I do look like a Funko Pop, don't I? A little bit.
You don't.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I liked most about cons was getting art done from artists. Like, I got a lot of concept art done back before I knew like how to get art from people. So, I mean, that was cool.
I like Skip's comment. I kind of agree with that because I've now started going to little flea market cons, if you want to call them that. Not really real cons.
Small library or flea market cons are the best for collectors. Indie cons are great to discover new books. Major cons are only good for toys and exclusive variants. So George, if someone put a choice down in front of you, cons or streaming like we do now, what would you choose?
So I have to only choose one for the rest of my life, and that's it?
That's it.
Well, nice knowing you, Rob.
I just want to go back to the point about falling out of love with comics. The reason why I have loved it every day since I've joined CG is because of the fans, man. Like, it honestly is. Like, hanging out with you guys, going in the chats, giving each other shit, giving Bancroft shit. It's fantastic. It makes it so much fun.
No, it's a good time.
Mo Biggs. But I go to a con where you could just play a new Avengers game and get the same experience. Leroy knows what I'm talking about. Exactly, yeah. You could just RP the con experience.
Damn, George. I know that was pretty savage. I just knew that George did not want to make that choice, and because I asked him, it was me under the bus. I was thrown into the river.
I'm always here for you, man. You know that.
Always throw right after the wife, Rob. Right after the wife.
Hal, George, Leroy, and Rob in that order. Love, heart, you feel. Thank you. And that's the cool things about chat, man. Like, you get a nickname, you say something, you wear something that sticks for like 6 months. So that's really cool.
Resistance Publishing says, remember you did a video called "We're Killing It" a month ago. Keep that same energy. And it seems like you weren't in that, those doldrums for long. You said like a day, and you're already out of it. But
A day,
I guess it's something you wanted to kind of just mention to folks that it did happen to you.
Yeah, and just sorry, Leroy, just to the chat as well. Like, I know we get a lot of drama, and I don't like the drama much. Leroy doesn't like the drama. George hates the drama, and sometimes it's just stupid stuff. And some people need to take a break, so take that break, go away from it if you need to, but come back, man. We're always here if you want to hang out, and we always appreciate you. So.
I'm convinced that 3 years Comicsgate time is 1 year normal time. So maybe 1 year of your life has gone by in like real time, but it's been like 3 years Comicsgate. It's really Comicsgate time is so weird. So anything that happened a month ago doesn't really hold very long because next week can be a completely different vibe.
So George, with cons, would you rather go to the large cons or like the smaller cons? Do you have a preference for that?
Well, Joe says that atmosphere cons I miss, but the pop culture aspect has taken over the comics and killed Artist Alley, which is my favorite part. And there are cons that have specifically said we're trying to keep stuff like media guests, as they call them, whether it's from a movie or a TV show, to a minimum, to the point where some of them don't even have them. And that's some of the stuff that people resent. Like, you go to a con and then like the guy that played Captain America is going to be there, or I'm just making stuff up. But yeah, I like going to the mid-sized ones where there's maybe like 50 to 80 guests, somewhere around that area. Once you start getting in the couple of hundreds and it gets like jam-packed with people, it gets a little bit crazy. But that's probably right around my sweet spot of people that I want to see, because that way you can go there, basically spend the whole day. You can be getting signatures or sketches, whatever you're getting, and still get your shopping done and be done all in one day.
Do you know what really grinds my gears, George? And that is when you go to a con, for example, and it's like, say it's Meet Captain America and the actor's there, and they charge you $20 for a photo. In my mind, right, the fans, a lot of the time, are the reason why that movie is successful, and that person gets a huge payday. They should be doing that for free. That's what I think.
Okay.
Disagree?
Yeah, disagree. Yeah, disagree. They're there to get paid. That's what they're there for. So.
All right.
I agree with you, Rob. Actually.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Leroy.
But I
don't agree with me as well. George is wrong for once.
I don't hold any kind of man in reverence. You know what I mean? Like, I was raised a little bit different than that. So even if I see a long line when I do go to a con and to get a signature on a book or whatever, I'm like, no, F that. Like, I just don't want it. Like, I don't want it that bad. Who's this guy that I'm going to sit here and stand an hour in line? Like, you see a Finch line. I'm like, no, I don't think so. So I mean, I'm kind of with you, Rob.
Jasper says Heroes Con is huge, and I think they're just comic focused. Have you been to that one, George?
No, that one's in North Carolina. I think they've had that one every year for several years. And he's right; it is almost exclusively artists. But yeah, I've never been to that one. That's the one that Shane talks about a lot, I believe.
Well, Shane lives in North Carolina, so it makes sense.
Jasper says, I hate the charging for signatures trend that happened over the last 10 years. It used to be that all signatures were free. And not only were signatures free, you could get like sketches for free. And that started changing. He's right. Roughly around 10 years ago. I remember Neil Adams used to charge $20 for a signature. I remember thinking that at the time was a lot. And now he charges $50 a signature.
It got so bad in cons. I don't know if you remember this, George, but when that started the signature thing, I remember that because there were still artists that would not like charge for signatures, and the other artists would like look down on them and it turn into a little spat because they're like, everybody has to do it now.
Some artists that don't charge for signatures do ask for donations for like, the Hero Initiative, or the thing that raises money for artists or writers are unemployed and need like healthcare benefits and stuff. I have seen that, but yeah, there are also some people that don't charge at all.
Guys, we've got like 30 people in here, so if you can hit like and subscribe, that would be awesome. We're trying to build the channel, and we do some decent content. So if you can do that, that would be great. I want to move on to trailers, because this is something that's been going around lately. Why do them? A lot of the common conception from fans, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that they're just for the creators to one up each other. Is what I've been.
No, that's mine. I don't know if everybody agrees with that.
That's my stance on it. Is it's what creators use to pitch each other's book when they're on each other's show. I find them completely pointless. I don't get why you guys spend any time making them or time discussing them. This is my opinion, though. There's no audio here.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing audio. Well, this is a Starblaze trailer, which is probably one of the best trailers. So
it's good, but it's not a good. It's really good clip. I don't know if it's a good trailer.
Yeah. So that's the question for you guys and for chat as well. What do you want from a trailer? Because this tells you nothing about the story, what you're gonna get. But god damn, it looks beautiful. Would you rather have something that hooks you like that's visually beautiful like this, or do you want me to tell you what the book is about?
I don't want a trailer at all, but if there is one, I would want it to tell me what the book is about.
Why don't you want a trailer?
I don't feel the need for it. Like it doesn't sell me on the book. Like if it's not going to tell me anything about the book, it's pointless. Like that trailer was pretty, but I don't get it. I have no idea what that book is about.
So George, who's Barnaby?
Barnaby is the cat from Starlight Cats.
Why do you know that?
Oh, because of the trailer. I didn't back that book because of the trailer, though.
No, what I'm saying though is I disagree with. I agree where kind of your premise, but I disagree that you can't have a good trailer. I rarely hear Shane Davis hard pitch his book because his trailer does such an effective job doing it for him. He'll play the trailer, then he says little girl, space cats, big adventure, boom, he's done. He plays his trailer instead. I think that's a very effective way of doing it instead of going in there and talking for 30 minutes on some kind of hard pitch. So if you have a trailer that's executed correctly, you know who Barnaby is. You know who Rebecca is. You know the rest of that. Like, you understand. So, like, I agree with you, but I kind of disagree to a point as well. Like, if more people did more effective trailers, it would be, you wouldn't have the 2-hour shills streams on one pitch, on one book, which can be brutal, George. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's another point. I want to get back to this in a second. But with the pitches, right? How in-depth do you want them to be? Do you like, what's Shane's pitch? Is it just like cats in space?
Yeah.
Is that all you guys need, or do you need more than that?
No, like, the trailer says everything else.
What about you, George?
I think it's on a book-by-book basis based on what the art looks like. I can't tell you what Groken is about at all. Can you tell me what Groken is about? Leroy?
Badassery.
Yeah, like I have no idea what it's about, and it doesn't matter. Like I'm not sure you can tell me without being funny what the Lucent is about, and that's not trying to be a joke, but I know you're excited for that book. So yeah, it's on a book by book basis.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so with that Starlight Cats trailer, how many times do you
There's
think
a
that's
lot of
been
points
watched?
in the chat. You want to get to them real quick?
Yeah. I will. How many times do you think that has been watched?
The Starlight Cats trailer?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
7,500 times.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah. All right, let's have a look. Jaro says agree. They should get an appearance fee. That he's talking about the actors or whatever. There we go. Vanessa says already subscribed. It would be cool if you ignore Rob and hit like and subscribe, not because he asked you, but because I did. I appreciate it. F trailers. Wow, that's a strong one, Stu.
What was the first thing it said before F trailers?
Oi. Oi. F trailers. Oi. A creator should get appearance. Overcharge. Yeah, we're still on that. Where are we going? Danger Vanessa. I think trailers is for the randoms on IGG or Kickstarter.
My point here, and the reason why we're even talking about this to me is it seems like it's something that the creators talk about a lot and put a lot of time and effort in. That's why I say I just don't get it. Like I don't care about it at all. I wish you would spend some of that time on the book more. That's my point.
It's tough though because from my point of view, if you go on streams, the majority of people want to play the trailer. If your trailer's crap, it detracts from your ability to sell the book. I've seen dozens of trailers where I'm just like, well, that's going to be a no from me, thanks, dog.
I've never not backed a book because of shitty trailer.
Oh man, I have. If you don't have a trailer, what does that say about your project? That you don't have you don't think it's important enough? Like, what else are you going to skip out on?
Like I said, like George and I are saying, we think it's more important to a creator than it is a fan, and that's all we're enforcing right now.
Yep.
Okay. Louise says, I'd rather creators make an infomercial trailer where you tell me what I can get. What do you think about that, George?
So they're breaking down tier by tier what all the perks are. I'd watch that.
Okay, interesting. I want to see the art of the book in the trailer. I want a trailer where Rob and Bancroft are fighting while the Star Trek battle music plays. That's all it would take me to sell him whatever. We should do that. That'd be awesome. That'd be heaps of fun, actually. A trailer should just be shots of the interior art that gives me the elevator pitch. I can see art in trailer good enough. Then I'm at Barnaby. Why is having a trailer an issue? You don't have to watch it. Yep, I agree. I don't have to watch it.
You don't have to watch it, but we also shouldn't be talking about it as much as we are. And there shouldn't be as much emphasis on it as there is from the creators, is our point. You're right, I don't watch it. That's my point. If I'm not watching it, why is it such a discussion? Not between you and me right now. I just mean for the past year plus.
I'm starting to think that maybe it should be a combination. 30 seconds of like an intro of the art and what the story is, and then 30 seconds about what you get and that kind of thing. I don't know, but anything longer than a minute, man, it has to be spectacular. Rick's in the house. What's up,
Rick?
I like Ethan pre-rolling trailers while people filter into his live streams. That's cool. Wait, how long's he been doing that for?
I don't know that he does it that often.
Oh, talk about Shane Davis and he appears. We're just talking about your trailer, Shane.
Barnaby.
Jasper, I feel Zach is treating Rock and Roll Ninja as a half-hearted attempt because there is no time spent for a trailer.
I think Zach's doing a lot of half-hearted attempts at a lot of things right now.
Have you seen some of his old trailers that are like 12 minutes long? Like, I don't know. He's not known for his trailers.
Trailers generate hype, but we sell in books and not movies. A trailer can be well animated, but ultimately has nothing to do with the quality of the book.
Very well said.
Who doesn't love comics?
Even better.
Me for one day last week, Shane. I had a day where I wasn't enjoying it.
Oh boy.
I was just What?
P.S. for the link and that goes in the spiral. I blame you, Rob.
Oh, that would be good because we've got another 20 minutes to fill. So that'd be sensational.
I like how he calls it to kill.
Shane carried John's cross last night. John was all 2 more hours. I needed a nap. Shane was, I got you, coach. And he closed out Graveyard Shift 3 visions for John. Did he? That's awesome, man. I Carry the Weight says, I never really watch a trailer, watch enough streams, and I can get enough info about the book and the creator than a 30-second trailer.
Yeah, but wait, okay, let's stop right on that one. So what people don't realize is there's a lot of times where I'll do a hangout stream or whatever, and if I talk about a book for 2 minutes, somebody will back. So that's why trailers, as much as George and I are saying, they can be important because you can have a more hangout stream. Shane does it, we do it. We all have seen it where we're just hanging out. We have no agenda, no topic, hanging out. But you play a trailer to kind of take a breath, go get a drink or whatever, and then it's a trailer's telling you about Rebecca and Barnaby and then whatever else, or John Malin's Graveyard Shift 3 trailer where he kind of gives you the pitch of the story, and then you come back. Somebody's going to back. It's happened many times, and then you get back to just hanging out. A trailer can be good, but it has to be done right. That would be my argument, and that's a perfect example of what Carry That Weight was saying.
So. I don't know why it's doing this lately. It's just flickering all the time when I try and share. So is this probably like what you'd like to see from a trailer? We've got audio.
Tonight. What news today?
Graveyard Shift returns with co-creator Mark Polton and Jawbreakers artist Aaron Elfecci to bring you more villains from the darkest corner of the universe. A master plan unfolds. New heroes, surrounded by enemies everywhere, Graveyard Shift, upon returning to Earth, must join forces with the Dimension Hopper Grom and his commando unit of superpowered monster hunters to fight off a werewolf infestation that has begun terrorizing the world in their absence. 50 pages of full-color, pulse-pounding action. Also, we're offering a new supplemental book, including a story by myself and new art talent, Rob Willis. Presenting the debut of Ruiner, the last of his people, Genoa comes to Earth to stop a genocide. Also featuring an additional story by Rob Arnold with art by Joe Ball and Little Graveyard Shift by Kyung Lee. And more, only on Indiegogo.
I like that page with all the werewolves in the street. You should get an artist like that, Rob. That'd be awesome.
Jim
George
says hire a voice. I would agree with that, but what he's doing is correct. That's what I'm saying. George and I could be hanging out on one of my streams one day where we're talking about food or whatever. Malin pops in, maybe we stop for 1 minute, play that trailer. People know what the book is about. They know what it looks like, and then we're back into our discussion. Like that's why they can.
There's things about that one I like and I don't like. Jim's right. Like the voice isn't the greatest, but the intent is there. It tells you very briefly and succinctly, this is what the story is about, and it's showing you art.
So that is probably what you'd like to see, something like that.
Yeah,
that was 56 seconds.
I would actually trim down the beginning a little bit. Get rid of that whole Children of the Night. I don't want to see any of that. Just get to the story part.
George doesn't have time for that.
Hey, Candace B's in the house. What's up, Candace?
Oh, awesome. Mo Big says Iron Sights had a second trailer that was amazing, but Zach deleted it. Phil says I am the trailer. Shane says we need a pee break. Candace is here somewhere.
No, he needs a pee break. That's why he plays the trailers. He doesn't need one right now.
All right. It was about $4.99. Okay, sorry, I missed it. All right. So that's pretty much the trailers that wrapped up.
So how much effort do you put in your trailer? Like, do you have to spend like for talent for that, right? For people to put the clips together.
Money. Yeah.
Like, do you have to license out like for music, or how does all that work?
No, you can find a lot of like open source music that you can use. It was funny actually. I was getting Vaughn to do my trailer because I ran out of time, and I'm like, I found this really sick song for it, and it was the exact same song that he'd used for Fatal, the trailer for Fatal, so we couldn't use it. So yeah, there's open source music you can use, but yeah, it's not cheap to make a trailer. I think if you get it done by a somewhat professional, you're looking anywhere between like $150 to like $300 US.
Oh,
so I thought
it was way more than that. In that case, yeah, go ahead and do it.
Mm, mm, mm.
You have George's permission now. That's what's
I
important.
thought it was like 10 grand.
No. I mean, if you wanted to get one of those motion capture ones, like if you wanted to do one like Kyle Ritter or one like Adam Lawson did on the 8th, that would cost heaps. But most people don't do that. Ibar Ideas says, of course, Rob needs to pay someone to sell his book. Can you imagine a trailer with him in an instant bankruptcy? Yeah, I don't disagree. George has been convinced. Next topic.
Yeah, that's important.
Okay, so this is add-ons versus secret perks, right? You've seen with Replicator 3, we had add-ons at the start where you could just add on different things that you wanted. Murph has gone a different way where he has secret perks that I don't think he had them at the start ready to go. What's the way to go, George? Which way do you prefer?
I don't know if it matters, provided that the secret perks don't bill you for extra shipping. If extra shipping is involved, I prefer just add-on, because you can just go and add stuff to your cart and just be done with it. But the way Murph did it with the secret perks, that certain ones that didn't have extra shipping on it, I think for a backer it doesn't matter. I know your angle on it is, well, if I have people come back and reback it, it adds to the backer count. But I've used both. I've done secret perks and I've done add-ons. On your campaign, I added on twice. So I don't know. I just think it's semantics when it comes to that. It's my personal opinion. But like I said, I know for you, it's like I want more backers in my backer count.
Yeah, and Murph has done that just incredibly well. He's gone from 300-ish backers up to 850 right now, which is absolutely insane.
Yeah, but his reason, his success isn't simply that he has secret perks. It's because he's added so many new items. You've had your items from the beginning.
Yeah.
Your only secret perks that were new were the posters. Correct?
Yeah.
Because even your secret perk now, where you can get the original version of #1, was an add-on.
Yeah.
So he added, completely different books. Like he had the handbook, he had the issue 0, he had multiple different figures, and he also had something else. Oh, he had his original works, which was a library of all the original published, and those were all things he added later that weren't available in the beginning. I think you're looking at it completely different. You're not adding in new items except for the posters.
I kind of like Jim's take. I think they're two different things. He's pretty much saying secret perks are hitting up a smaller audience, he says. And I would say that because you're putting out a secret perk, it's only going to go to your current backers. Add-ons are going, like, new backers come in and see what's going on. It's almost two different things, Rob.
Can I read this? Because chat are going absolutely bananas that I missed this. Imagine if Zach spent the money to license Cyndi Lauper's True Colors for his $4.99 trailer.
Are you happy, Cyndi Lauper?
Yeah.
Oh.
True Colors shining through.
Cyndi Robocopter.
I want to apologize for being a potato.
Never apologize for being a potato.
I've learned two things about Shane. Never call him a potato, and never call him a low-key beast. Those are the two things I promise I will never say to him. Promise.
What about a low-key beast potato?
What about a low-key potato?
That's like, I think calling someone a potato is just such a stupid insult. Potatoes are really useful. Like, they make fries.
They could power light bulbs.
Yeah, I mean, like, call him like something that no one likes, like cauliflower. I mean, that's more insulting. Anyway, okay, so yes, we had a few people comment on this. Where have they gone? And probably says, I prefer add-ons. Secret perk emails aren't descriptive enough, and that makes me think they are spam emails. Ooh,
I don't get any of the emails. None of them. So the only reason I know secret perks exist is because I hear everyone talking about it and I go see it in the comments. So I never get like when you put updates on Replicator, I never see an email about it.
So how do you find them? Then you just go to the campaign page and
the secret perks?
Well, like the updates, like the campaign updates.
Oh, I go to the campaign page and I click on the updates tab and I look for them.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
interesting.
but I never get an email.
Some of these secret perks are too secret. Limited time items at the beginning of a campaign to get a strong start in general are good.
He's talking about like 24-hour variants, which you don't have to do with the first day, but that's something I've seen people do.
Do you want to read that one, Leroy?
Call him something nobody likes. Shane is a Rob Arnold.
Oh, brutal!
I
You
like
guys.
you, Rob. I
You
like you.
guys.
You're just a little special. That's all right.
What do you think, Rob? Like for your fulfillment purposes, when you're going in and you're going to fill out all these orders,
Oh,
what's
it's going to be
easier?
an absolute nightmare.
Which one's easier?
Secret perks are going to be an absolute nightmare because you're going to have to go and match up all the people that have ordered different things and put them all in the same package. It's going to be horrendous.
Learn the code. It won't be that hard.
Maybe you can help me. But yeah, you know, again, you look at Murph. I know he's added new things in that weren't there at the start. He's gone from 300 backers to 850. Not all of those people are going to be repeat backers either. Like some of them will be new backers that have just been brought into the campaign. Same thing happened with posters. I started doing the poster week, and we had backers that hadn't backed before back in the comic. It just I don't know where they come from, but they come from somewhere.
It isn't so, Michael.
George is fallen out of love with comics. Say it ain't so. It's not. It was me for a day last week, Baycroft. I was having a special day.
George is very excited to find out Eddie Winkler was wearing his "I Love Comic Books" T-shirt that he ordered.
Yeah, it's nice. I ordered mine.
Really? I didn't see it. Have you got yours, Leroy?
I haven't ordered it yet.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Mine shipped. Hopefully, will be here in about a week.
Nice. Brian Polito, build an email list. Email list is king. Yeah, that is something that not a lot of people do. They do like the pre-launch mailing list, but they don't actually build an email list outside.
Do you have
of that.
one?
Yeah, I have a pretty big one. Mine's about 3K. That's probably not half the reason, but it's a significant reason why my campaign did well. At least his wife will have something to read for all eternity.
Hey, happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day, America. We had it yesterday.
How'd your wife enjoy the swim in the river today, George?
It's a little bit cold out today.
All right, we've got 7 minutes, guys. Chat, do you have any questions for us? And you guys, do you have any topics left?
What's going on with Replicator 3?
We're doing edits. We've got some really big news, though. Shelby Robertson is going to be working on a Goliath side story. So I want to keep all the characters separate out of the book. So, I think the Replicator should just be for the story, and we'll have side stories introducing the characters. And Shelby Robertson's going to do Goliaths.
Nice.
And it's going to be sick, especially with that character and the way he draws large dudes. It's going to look wicked.
So you're going to have a main book, be issue 4. Then you'll have a second book with 2 different stories in it, or just 1?
3 is the intention. Yeah. We've got 1 for Pain, we've got 1 for Swift Shock, and we've got 1 for Goliath.
Wait, you're not doing a ghost one?
Yeah, I may do that separately. I may do that as a separate Indiegogo. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I've got like a 48-page in my mind for Ghost, so we'll see.
Rick Saylor says Shelby Robertson is doing a poster and some prints, which is awesome. Who was the first backer on that campaign, by the way, for Rachelity's War? I can't remember.
I don't know. Was it Rick Saylor?
Rick's the biggest fan. I think he might have been number 1.
He may have been.
No?
Mm.
Oh.
Who was it, Leroy?
It was me.
Yeah, Shelby is a fantastic artist, man. He can do anything too. Absolutely anything. Shelby's a beast. Yeah, and I've also got Booty Juice. He's working on a piece for me, and I've got Chris Graves working on a piece for me. So
how will that first guy be credited in the book?
What guy?
The first guy you just mentioned.
Booty Juice. Like, I love his art, but man, he's got to work on his name.
Is that going to be the name in the comic?
No, he's just doing a piece. It's not actually in the book. Yes, but I have heard that, George. I've heard people don't like the Booty Juice. name. I've got booty juice.
That is what you said.
Oh gosh. Yeah. So yeah, we're working on edits for Replicator 3. It's one of those things, like, I think Malin's been saying it lately, you know, we've got to do the best that we can do. I don't think where we're at now is the best that I can put out. So we're making some edits to improve it, and it may delay a little bit, but I've got to do it, man. I can't send it out unless it's the absolute best I can do. So that's what we're doing.
That's great. No, keep on working hard.
Yeah. What about you guys, George? Splintering? How's that going?
Good. This month we're doing everything black and white, monochrome May. I'm really excited about a top 10 list I did, top 10 greatest black and white comics of all time. Still waiting on that to get posted. It's been written. It's just waiting to get posted by the editor. But yeah, check out the Splinter when you get a chance. Lots of cool stuff about black and white movies, TV shows, comic books, all kinds of stuff out there. Ooh,
Do you want to read that one, Leroy?
Lucent News, Waking Dream 60 pages are lettered by Eric and ready to print. The 14-page extra content in the book is also lettered, and Eric working is just a handful of corrections there. Mike is almost ready.
Congrats,
if I had to
man.
guess, he's probably into print in the next 2 weeks. Go to print in the next 2 weeks.
Yep, that's exciting.
So there's a good chance you might get it in June.
That would be tough. Mike, make sure you have your bags and boards ready.
Yeah, get your bags and boards ready. We can have a talk if you want. That's really cool, man. Congratulations. Go back. The Lucent link is in the description. Channel 0x. Don't know if I've seen you before. Welcome. Leroy, how is the chat going?
I let Vanessa go yesterday, so if guys haven't seen that stream yesterday, then it's a short one, but George watched it. It's probably worth a watch, I'd say.
Yeah.
Jasper says, will there be another late stream showing off questionable Replicator interiors? There probably will at some point. Like, I want to get them all changed first, because like I think people go, oh, that doesn't look good. That's what we're getting. So I want to show you before and after.
I don't think I've seen when a page is done and think, I don't like the way that page looks. However, when you've shown a page when it's done and then the new version, I've always liked the new version better. The only thing I can think of that struck me as like, I don't like the way that looks, was Ghost's helmet on those couple of panels in that 1 or 2 pages. It just seemed overly large. And
yeah, we fixed all that.
I know you did, but I remember saying something and you got like, I remember you got upset. Like, not like upset with me, but you're like, come on, you're just kidding. But outside of that,
you gotta tell me that. You got to tell me that. Even if I have a defensive reaction, tell me it, because I want to hear it.
No, honestly, I know, but outside of that, like when you've shown a page, I never think to myself, I don't like the layout of that page. But then when you've shown the updated version, I always like the updated version better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We did. I think the mech page, where you've got the mech in the first panel and then the people below. You know which one I want. The new page of that is multitudes better. It really is. It looks so much better. What
do you do with the old pages that you don't print?
Well, I'll have them. Like, they're traditionally drawn, so he'll send them to me. I don't know what I'll do with them. Maybe I'll auction them off. Maybe I'll raffle them off for something. The
printed pages are always what collectors want the most. Like, they always say, like, has that page been seen publication? So maybe sell them for a little bit of a discount, or like you said, raffle them off or auction them off. Like, this wasn't published, but it was like the first page.
See, I mean, that's interesting to me, because, like, let's say you had a Batman story, like, Killing Joke, right? And there was a page from it that never made it into it. Wouldn't that be more?
No, it's the opposite.
Wow,
I have a Batman cover upstairs. There was 10 pinups that were illustrated by this one artist, and 8 of them saw publication. 2 of them did not. And this was one of the 2 that did not, and I got it as a discount because it wasn't published.
Okay. All right. So let's do a quick recap. Go sub to Joe Sontag. We call him Fred Durst. Go have a look at the Lucent links in the description. Go check out the chat. That is also a really interesting discussion. They talked about 499 a little bit yesterday, and the color changes, which was very interesting. George is doing the splintering. Link is in the description as well. And I think that's pretty much it. I think we might wrap it up there, right on an hour, guys. So thank you, everyone. There was heaps of people in here today. We had like 37 people. So thank you all so much. We really appreciate the chat. So make sure you hit subscribe and go check out Replicator too. If that's something you want to have a look at. It's damn beautiful. George.
Thanks, chat.
Leroy.
See you later.
See you guys. Bye. I'm going to press end broadcast, not leave studio again. All right. And you can do it right. See you guys. Bye.